Yep. That's right. That's right. It is officially, finally, Thursday. And I awoken this morning with a strange excitement, knowing full well that I'm not going to watch Critical Role tonight, even though it's Thursday. Yeah, because I guess I'm a Monday guy now for that kind of shit. Hello, welcome back to the stream, welcome back to the VOD. Good morning, my friends. Hope y'all doing well, hope y'all chilling. Man, alright, I had the best morning so far. Had a great workout, big breakfast, did some work, hung out, did some shit. So we're gonna have a productive ass day. I also figured some stuff out with the packaging of the trading cards. Not that anyone cares about the trading card project besides me, but I think I figured some stuff out. So I'm looking forward to that, man. We're gonna do a little bit of work on that today. I think a little bit of discussion on some of the writing projects and whatnot, how it's gonna impact the Astral Knight release, and maybe even drop some mechanics in the Discord. I don't know, dude. It's gonna be a good day. But I started, look, I've had this tradition during my most productive times of when I get home from the gym and I finish breakfast and I get myself ready for the day, I sit down and I do a dungeon in World of Warcraft. And I think I'm bringing that back in. You know, I did a little dungeon this morning and I realized the value of letting the mind cool for a little bit. It's almost meditative, you know, or some shit, although I'm sure all the meditation experts and gurus of the modern era would vehemently disagree with me that playing a video game first thing in the morning is good for you or something. I don't know. Yes, dude, the trading cards, bro. So yeah, I mean, I got some supplies that I needed for it. I figured out how to do the printing and whatnot, but I think the packs, I think they're ready. I think the packaging is ready. I think I figured out what I'm gonna do with it, and I think that we're gonna go ahead and do the card paper packaging, right? These are two different styles of alpha pack. I don't even remember what's in here, honestly. I didn't make very many alpha cards, so I don't know what's actually in these two, and I'm not opening them. All right, these are my two like experiment sort of tests from the early era. But yeah, honestly, I think we're gonna finalize some of the different like fancier whatever cards, and it's gonna be cool. I'm really looking forward, because like the problem is I could have done the Mylar packaging, the Mylar bags, right, and then heat sealed them, and that would have been way easier, and then put a sticker on top of it like I did for the magic item cards. But realistically, I didn't love that. Sanix, what's up, there, dude? Hello.
What were you doing today? Pack opening today, I see.
Oh, what's up, bro? Thanks for the 100 bits, man. No, we're not opening any packs. All right. Excuse me. Maybe if, depending on how long stream lasts today, maybe if I make some test packs, because we're gonna do some stuff. I printed off another alpha sheet, so I can cut this at some point in time and make another round of alpha cards to test. Man, dude, the new printer makes this shit look good. Holy God, man. The new printer is clean with these cards. Look at them, dog. Look at that dragon just chilling there. I bet you as Shadow of Azathoran is going to be one of the better received, more loved common cards, but I have no idea. So we shall see. All right. You just want the Sabine card? Look, do you mean the card, the promo you're gonna get for the Merfolk, or do you mean a card for a character of Sabine? Because I don't know if I have a character. Do we? No, wait, you're gaslighting me. Hold on, you're just speaking ground to me today, all right? Mm-hmm. What's up, Garthan? Gotta have them all. I don't know. I'm really excited for like having a base set of little fine art card, trading card, print thingies, whatever. I don't know. It's dumb, but we might do some work on it today. And I think I want to do some, like I used to do little Friday giveaways and stuff. I think it'd be fun to do promos every week or something.
All right, I'll have a couple of cases then.
What do you mean cases? Dude, I'm only going to be making for the first edition like 250 packs, and I'm going to keep a lot of them loose, I think, and I'm only going to make about 10 boxes of 8, I think. So I'll have those up on my print store separately. So, but yeah, oh, sorry, yeah, so the reason why I want to do the cards in the packs like this instead of in the Mylar, this takes me way longer and is really annoying, but there's something satisfying to me about actually being in like a card, like paper, you know, packaging. But also in addition to that, I find it really satisfying to actually be able to lay these nicely and stack them in a box together, you know, because it'll be boxes of 8, I think, so it'll be 4 high, so they'll be fairly thin boxes, you know, they won't be particularly large or whatever. But I don't know, man, like how that's too high. I guess I could see what 4 high looks like today, and I should probably make 8 like, so the alpha cards are for me figuring out a lot of this stuff. The beta is where I'll start making like full boxes and seeing how they really function and how the packs, you know, really feel. So we'll see. And then of course the promos that are the one of ones. So like Sabine's card, for doing the sponsorship, will be in one of these cases. So this is what you get, by the way. If you sponsor a project for Eldara, this is one of the ways that I sort of hopefully make it more fun and more worthwhile, is I reserve a promo slot, which there's not going to be many promo slots like in the totality of my career. I don't know how many I'll ever make, but I'm doing it kind of like as a Wizard of the Coast style for Pokemon, so they're just numbered. But yeah, man, anyone that I do is for somebody specifically, like Sabine's project for the Merfolk, will be in one of these cases with a little one of one thing on it. So that's exciting, man. I don't know. I think it's cool.
You totally have to give us fair warning before putting these up. There will be a stampede unlike anything Calgary has ever seen.
I don't know about that. I think I'm making a lot of them. I'm planning on making like the first edition is pretty big. I don't think that this will sell out. I'm not worried about that. All right. And look, if for some reason it does, for whatever reason, because it's a passion project and I want to keep them limited and whatever, then I'll do a series 2 second edition. So if any, like it's about the art. It's not about the trading card part of it's just fun, but it's more or less about the art. It's people who want the art cards will be able to get them. I'll make a second edition, whatever. It's just serializations will still be in effect for both. So, you know, doesn't matter. I will let you guys know. I will give fair warning. I'll tell you guys that like on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that it'll be up on a Friday or something, or some shit like that. Because I don't know. I do not suspect that there'll be some massive fucking demand for them or whatever, you know? They want to limit the number one person can buy for the first 6 hours or something. Can I do that on Shopify? I think I can, right? I think I can. Yeah, I should be able. Well, I don't know. It's an L question, but yeah, it's probably a good idea. Is like limit it to, I don't know, whatever per person for the first day or some shit, and then just open it up full away. That's probably fine, just so nobody giga trolls me or whatever, like Dashto buys every single card or some shit, or Ella does or whatever.
Then we get a Stephen Hawking message that the cards have been out for 6 weeks ago. That's
right. Who knew that the cards were already on the print store today and you had no idea? But thank you for the 300 bits, Sedex. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that, dude. Thank you. I'm gonna come back up there next year and have you hand sign all of them. I will happily hand sign any of the cards that I make. I gotta figure out though here's the problem with it, okay? This paper that I'm using, because they are fine art card print, they're fine art prints made into trading cards, basically. I'm still using my fine art paper. So this paper is very, very specific and very special to take on a lot of ink. I have never found I've only found one pen that it doesn't kill. That it doesn't, like, so the paper will actually destroy pens. something about it tries to like suck too much ink out, and then it like kind of kills the pen or something. It's so weird. I've never seen anything do it like that before. I even brought my paper to the art supply store and asked them for archival pens that I could use on fine art paper, and they're like, oh yeah, there's any of these. Like, we'll try it right now. Do you have any samples? And I did, and it like murdered 2 or 3 pens there. And the lady there was like, oh my god, what the fuck is this paper made of? Yeah, I know. So I could sign them, but I probably have to use this one pen for it. So
some of us won't want multiples.
Multiples of what? Multiple copies of like the base set or what? Thanks for the 100 bits, Steve. And thank you, 8 for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome in. Yeah. Hotel lobby pen. Okay. All right. Some of those that are more feral might wait, can't be trusted. Okay. Look, I will make sure that it's available. I don't know. I don't suspect this being a massive thing, but either way, I'm gonna throw a cool like special pack thingy into also like certain things that I do, like Ella's advent calendars. People are getting one or two for those, and some other little dumb fun things and whatever. So, PvP problem. What's the old PvP problem, Samurai? So yeah, it'll be fun. I ain't worried about it. Anyway, we gotta do some finalizations of some cards today. So I'm gonna get some feedback on some designs for a couple things for the trading cards, and I think we'll try and like do a little run through of it, and maybe start the beta print run whatever today. After of course the very important project of finishing off this character Veyron, because if I don't finish the art for this character next week, on next Thursday, I have to draw exclusively and only furry art for 3 hours. Timer will be on screen. All right. Yep, that's right, the furry thon. So the stakes are high today. The stakes are high, but good to see you, Thorkin. What's up, dog? Thorkin, I need some advice from you on a resource I can give to my peepos for practicing perspective. I need an online resource for perspective for them. And I'm not sure if your opinion of Drawbox would be the place to go for it. But I was considering asking you for that. The Tear art in only 3 hours? No, the Tear art is completely separate. This would be full-on Fursona art. Yeah, no, that's how serious this would be. That's how serious I am about finishing this project today, okay? Not just Teor. Teor is happening whether I want it to happen or not now, okay? That's already in the works. The hand of fate has moved Teor into play, okay? This would be full on fucking My Little Pony Fursona shit. So I have to do this right today. Otherwise, I'm gonna be stuck pulling my internet next week. Oh god. Okay. All right. Those are the stakes. Why are we still talking? Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. I should do something like every day that I don't finish the project on screen or on stream. I should like, I think I have promos. I should like send people promos. Do I have any? I think I do. Oh, I have so many. I have the stack. of promos. I think I'm not sure how many people have these. I think I've given these out to Patreon and people I've seen in person. But I have the full stack of Barsheer Tower promos, all numbered, and then the Darcerian promos, all numbered. So maybe I do that. Maybe I'll do like a, I don't know, whenever I don't finish a project, check it's a promo or something. Do something like that. I don't know. Those can go there. Hold them out. I was just curious. Project Evangeline's Fursona. Yes, that's what it is. Project Evangeline's Fursona. If I fuck it up. So those are the stakes. Dropbox is solid but boring AF. Are you looking for perspective exercise? I got a few if you want me to give you a cheat sheets. Yeah, actually, sure. Yeah, that'd be great actually, because so we're working through gesture first because I think that was the easiest way to get Minnie and Alf into the routine and mode of drawing doing character sketching. I saw Minnie was streaming last night doing some anatomy studies, so lots of good stuff developing there. But I need to help him with perspective, and I'm not sure what kind of, like, the problem is perspective studies from the very baseline are something I don't think I'm going to be great at teaching. So I want to just point them towards a resource, and then, you know, like either really good modern day James video or something like that, or something along those lines to like help them basically guide towards doing studies and make it very apparent as to what is kind of expected. All right. So where we left off yesterday, this is Veyron, who is one of the 2 characters for the new Realms of Eldara novel, which I don't know if you heard me monologuing about this, Atari, but I started writing this week. That's right, the first ever Realms of Eldara novel by me. This is one of the 2 characters, Veyron, and then the other Kolos. I think we'll put him in there as well, and have Veyron and Kolos sort of like looking over their shoulders, kind of like, I imagine Veyron's like holding her orb or whatever, and fucking Astralis, and Kolos is like holding a sword or something. So we're gonna finish the portraits first, because it's easier for me to write characters. I find that I'm trying to figure this shit out. It's easier for me to start this if I can visualize them. So there's a lot to do business travel. I hope the travels were good, though. I hope the trips were productive and fruitful and not terribly boring. But you know, I'm aware as to what business trips could be like. But anyway, yeah, I started writing Atari. I was actually thinking a lot about sort of the example that you have inspired me to live up to, maybe as somebody who's creating some better narrative and whatnot. So yeah, I really want to write something that can, you know, you will be the person that I am chiefly concerned with impressing with this with this narrative project I'm working on, because I don't know if it's a short story, a novella, or a full-on fucking novel yet. I think we're shooting somewhere in novella territory for this project for Veyron and Kolos. So it's gonna be an Astral Knight story, more or less. Astral Knight and Astral Sage story, really diving into some of the deep lore and world building for Eldara. So I'm not that far in. I've only written the first, I don't know how many pages, like a couple thousand words, but still, okay. I'm gonna try my best, okay? I'm gonna try really hard to make something worthy of reading. If I can achieve anywhere near the type of stories that Atari's written, that'll be a lifelong career goal for me. So we shall see, but it's not quite at a point where I'm willing to give any test reading a shot. I think it's still pretty early in the process, but I really want to have the character art done. So we're gonna draw Veyron and Kolos today, and if I don't get this done, yeah, I guess I'm a furry artist for the next 6 weeks. So because why 6 weeks when you said only one stream, Evan? Because if I do anything as a meme, people remember it for 6 weeks. Like, you remember the 6 weeks everyone remembered the orb emote? Like, that was a crazy 6 weeks until everybody forgot about it for the rest of the year. So, you know, I think I may want to write something about the Twilight Starwoods next. Oh shit, that'd be fucking rad, dude. That'd be absolutely rad. You can make several short stories about them, combine them into a book. That's true, actually. You know, that's true. That's my streamer. Shut up, Penguin. Oh, listen, Penguin, you gotta be nice to me, okay? I'm married to a Calgary Flames fan. I deal with enough stress right now. I need extra compassion and understanding. You gotta speak to me in fucking crayon this entire week. So, a Lord Ops would be fantastic. Sure. I mean, actually, so I wrote some pretty comprehensive stuff about Ashasari in preparation for Secondhand Samurai actually sponsored the Twilight Starwoods. Well, the Twilight Elves, but part of that by extension is the Starwood. So I've been thinking about that and starting to do a little bit of that. It's obviously a little bit further down the queue, but I still like to think about it earlier. So there will be, based on the very kind and lovely sponsorship. I think it was Samurai that sponsored that. Wait, what'd you sponsor, Samurai? I crazy? I may be thinking of someone else. I'm sorry if I'm thinking of somebody else and I'm mixing up who sponsored what. I apologize if that's the case. But but you know, Star Wars are sponsored, so okay. So Veyron is going to be an astral sage. She is not an astral knight. That is Kolos's job. He is the knight of the duo. She will be the sage. Why an astral knight and an astral sage are adventuring together? Well, sages are still expert explorers, archivists, and truth seekers among the ancient astral arts, and maybe even have something once in a while to teach a little astral knight newbie out about some ruins. So I don't know, man. Will it kind of team up? Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm keeping it simple. I'm not doing like a story about a large party. It's just gonna be the two of them for the first like story or whatever. But it's gonna be setting up something that the adventure is going to be covering in depth at some point in time. So I'm very excited to start thinking about the story. When Astral Sage Beta, really all I have to do is put it together. So whenever we feel like it, I guess. What a terrible thing to behold your household a Flames fan. I know, man. It's really tough. I know. Ella's not having a good time this season. She's not having a good time, man. She watches games and she's learned like, you know, the English football chants that they have? Like how they're really known for that kind of shit over in the UK? There's one that she loves that she's particularly fond of, and it goes something like, "We lose every week, we lose every week. You're nothing special, we lose every week." She likes that one quite a bit right now. So, yeah, she's been, yep. Insane drawing, bro? Oh, shoot, thanks, dude. Appreciate that. This character is very important, so I want to do a good job on this one today, if we can. If we can. But it's sponsored the Twilight Elves and also the Rith. Yes, okay, that's right. That's why I just didn't want to get it wrong if somebody else sponsored the Twilight Elves, and I'm sitting here saying, "Oh, Samurai got the Twilight Elves," and someone's like, "What?" Actually, that was me, you piece of shit. So I don't want to make a mistake there, get it wrong, and be disrespectful. All right, listen, it's of chief concern of mine. I just have a list of things, okay? You know. You've got very distinct specialities and probably different goals motivating. Yeah, I mean, I want it also to be a very much an Eldara story, you know? So like within the sort of the fantasy that is kind of the generic like Tolarian classic high fantasy realm, I want there to be a sense of like here's kind of what I think makes Eldara special, and just start showing a little bit of that off in the stories, and hopefully convincing people that they want to play a sage or a knight and sort of have that kind of story experience for their own D&D adventures. So Kolos and Veyron in some ways are going to be our archetypical astral sage and astral knight. And I'm really, really hoping that I can at least somewhat semi-decently, proficiently, if maybe-ish, at least not screw the story up. So, but I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying writing it. I've been enjoying taking time away from art and important, like, big, heavy projects that I need to do a little bit of work on something that's kind of, you know, less like, oh, we got to get this done, like, immediately. It's got to be this thing, this big, like, pressure, whatever thing. Sometimes it's better to have multiple projects like that for me once in a while to bounce between. Lets me get through other bigger projects at a more efficient rate. So, new sub for you, bro. I appreciate that, dude. From Pakistan, welcome in, my friend. That's cool. That's far away, dude. That is very far away. Well, honored to have you here. All right. God, it's gotta be late over there right now, though. Holy dog. Okay, so we have a bit of cloud patterns. So I'm going to be moving with the intention of having the full version of like this character piece at some point in time. But right now we're just going to do the portraits first, I think. That's like the most important thing. And then we can actually get the full body, or at least half body pieces done for the two of them. Not full body, because I'm really not convinced that doing the full body pieces is like super useful for a lot of characters. I think that having portrait is kind of better in some cases for a lot of applications. I'm like changing my mind on that slightly. So we'll at least do the half. You know, you can kind of infer what the bottom half of a character is going to look like if you have a more detailed, zoomed in version of the top. Something I've realized recently with a couple of other projects. But maybe we'll do full, just kind of base character designs for them. I'm still unsure as to how much art to include in the actual, pages of the book. I'm still trying to find out why a lot of authors choose not to include a lot of art into their book. And I had actually, in my digging and delving a little bit yesterday, I had somebody sort of describe it to me in a Reddit post a little bit about how it doesn't interfere with the imagination process and how that's a very necessary part of reading a book. And that made sense to me, actually. So maybe I don't mess around too much. Maybe I don't do too much art for it. But then again, it is like a project for me, so or from me, so but there might be an expectation to have more art in it or whatever. Right? Glad you added the astral freckles. Yeah, they didn't even have to pay anything for that. Can you believe it? No one even had to pay extra for the astral freckles. God. I've sold out, man. Now anyone can get freckles. What's next? A lip scar? Holy. Yeah, just imagine. Everybody's walking around with the Blackwood lip scar. My God. I'd lose all credibility. I mean, what little I have left, but, it'd be gone regardless, so. Okay. Do some pretty dramatic lighting on these characters, alright? He's trying to microtransact his own characters. Yeah, that's rude, sorry. I've finally decided that my microtransaction hunger has gotten too strong that I must microtransact even myself. Even myself. I am now microtransactable. So, nothing is safe. How to use Paint? Do you mean MS Paint? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the software for MS Paint. Or do you mean Paint as in the medium? Because right now I'm using Photoshop, so I'm not painting physically. Wish I was. After he turned to an astral sage, the only thing I got were these freckles. Damn. That's like the start of a light novel or an anime or something. Yeah, shit. Where's Ashy? It'd be so fun to isekai my VTuber D&D crew into Eldara, turn them into astral sages, make light novels out of it, right? Really ensure the potency of the meme just lasts there for another couple of years. I do miss hanging out and playing D&D with them quite a bit, but I've got too much to do. I'm abstaining from all commitments and games and whatnot until I'm at a point where I've released the adventure properly in physical version. Which, by the way, I think that the tariffs are lifting in some ways, or at least there's an easy. A bunch of the people that I talked about this are shipping to the U.S. again now, so that's great. but seems like things are maybe back on the menu for sending stuff to the old United States of America, which would be great. Still, like, things for like Ella's dice are still screwed. She's still screwed. She is definitely screwed with her dice. But for me, and sending things like trading cards and other art related products as far as the American government's concerned, I think it's going to be lifting up soon. So what's up, Cal? Who are we drawing today? We are drawing a character for a book that I'm writing called Veyron. She is an astral sage. Her astral knight counterpart Kolos is the other sort of main character of the story, and I really wanted to have some art for them just so I could help visualize it for myself as I was moving through this process. Here it's streamer furry artist who isekais. Yes, that's the name of the stream next week. Thanks for spoiling the title, Penguin. I appreciate it, dude. That's great. That's just awesome. Now I have to think of a new title. Fuck, man. What do I do now? God damn it. Good morning, Elf. I've got a microtransaction to my next D&D session. Arrows, 1 silver piece each. You want fletching, 3 more copper. Ooh. That's decent. Yep, I can get behind that. Sure, why not? Listen. We all know our favorite hobby as game developers is whaling. The art of turning our players into payers. Oh, wait, this isn't a video game. Shit. I should, like, offer to, dude, I should offer to host, like, a panel at, like, Gen Con or something like that, or PAX for game developers, and basically talk about how you can introduce microtransactions into your TTRPG, and I'll just stand up there and deliver it completely seriously, you know, and just let people fume over it. It'll be my own version of a meme taken too far. I wonder if they'd approve it. Monetization in TTRPGs for sustainable game development. That's what we'll call it. Everybody will think it's on, like, for, you know, big TTRPG companies, but I'm talking about the home GMs. I bet I could get it cleared. I got enough pull, maybe. Look, my goal still is to get enough pull that I can get my GameCon Canada tickets for free next year. If I can become relevant enough, that is. So, you know. Don't give any good ideas, Evan. Oh, listen. I am absolutely gonna give them all the ideas, because if I don't, like, they're gonna do this anyway, Cow. You have to understand that, right? You must understand that they are going to start this kind of shit anyway. So I can either be ahead of the curve on the meme, or I can let somebody else take credit for it. Come on, man. Like, Wizards of the Coast is one edition of or one version update of their D&D Beyond software away from everything you and I ever loving about D&D being behind a subscription fee, paywall, premium battle pass. Okay, so the time is now for the memes, Cal. And I can either help the cause by making it a meme before it's a reality, or I can say nothing and stay silent and allow the changes to our game to happen without so much as a gesture reminding the king that he is indeed fat and naked, as it were. If I am to be that jester, then so be it. I will be the idea bearer, the bringer of good news for the wealthy corporate whatevers. I don't know. Something like that. I don't watch enough Critical Role to know how to be a wealthy corporate game developer yet. They're the model, right? How to do it right. Okay. To be fair, Cow, he didn't necessarily imply the panel would be good. Yeah, more or less. Yeah. Cass gets it. Cass understands. I should still apply for it, though, right? If I do get to do that, I will promise you I'll wear a turtleneck and circular glasses. I will make that promise to you now, that I will turtleneck it. Just so we know that I'm serious about this meme. Okay. So I wonder if we should take a crack at Kolos as well today, or if we should just finish Veyron up and then move on to the trading cards. I do want to go to the computer store today to get a couple of parts and stuff so that tomorrow after stream I can basically ruin my entire weekend. That's my goal, my plan for tomorrow, by the way. After stream, my entire weekend sucks. Because I am going to be doing a fresh reinstall of everything, upgrading some shit, some little things here and there, and also switching over to Restream instead of Stream Elements multi-streaming. That's the plan anyway, so I gotta set all that up, and it's gonna be a nightmare and a half. A whole nightmare. Totally shit for the meme? I agree. And you know what? I will. I owe it to you. You deserve seeing me take my memes seriously. Memes in which we have been enjoying for years shall become mainstream in the gaming community. Mark my words. Okay, last time we did these little floaty bits was on which character? Scarlet? Okay, hold on. I think I put a pattern on them. I think there's a pattern. Scarlet. Yes. They have little sagey, patterny things on them. Perfect. Perfect. Power of the orb shell spread. It has nothing to do with the orb, unfortunately. The battle pass for Eldara has been a meme for years. Long before the orb was even a idea in the mimetic collective consciousness of this stream. Unfortunately, the microtransactions existed. As much as I'd like to say that it's an ancient meme, I cannot. It is very unfortunate that Astral Sages all carry orbs of some variety in their Astral Atlas, so I will say the convenience of that meme does feel a little too properly thought out, if you ask me, so... Okay, there is one. Second one. These little seed type things. About the right size. I have to do a whole like breakdown, I realized, for the Astral Sage for their book. I have to do a whole little breakdown on how the actual sort of like Atlas and other kind of like Astral Sage air quote tech works, you know? So there's kind of a guide you can follow when creating a character. So I really don't want it to feel like tech, you know? I find so much of the kind of magitech that exists in fantasy to be not really that compelling, doesn't really fit in Eldara. You know? The more like Ravnica stuff is just, it just doesn't really work. So there's anything that's kind of like I want to be more like enchanted jewelry than feel like technology. That's like, I think a big like mindset shift that you can make with kind of like magitech stuff is to make it feel like it's an enchanted version of something else as opposed to actual functioning machinery. It's just kind of the rules that it follows, right? The rules that it follows as enchanted whatever else. It's like if you're gonna have enchanted armor versus a robot, which kind of like defines how you think of Warforged in your game and in your world and whatever. And obviously you know that I am definitely not a fan of Warforged, so maybe that's a good or bad example. What's up, SK? Sorry I missed the stream yesterday. Nah, dude, I'm honored you're here today. What's up, dude? Good to see ya, bruh. Do Astral sages wear shields? So a sage is a very general sort of. I'm trying to make a sage, an astral sage, in some ways as general as a wizard in regular D&D. So you could. It would be a little weird, I guess. Like what would the point of wearing a shield be? You know. I don't know. Why not? There's no like rules against it. Like to be part of a sage order or to practice the sage arts or whatever is not something that you really need to have. Like you don't need to sign up or get approval to do so. You can just sort of like learn it if you have the. But that kind of brings into, oh man, how should magic work in a good fantasy setting? Is it the kind of thing that everyone has access to if they only put the effort into learning, or is the kind of thing that you have a natural aptitude towards, and if you don't have that, you can't learn it? Excuse me. I've thought of this for a lot of like the development for Eldara. Is it something like force sensitivity where you're born with it and gifted with it, or is it something more like, I feel like in D&D, like Forgotten Realms kind of magic, anyone can kind of pick it up, you know? Part of that's like the idea of anyone can sort of multi-class, but then again, you can always say that like, oh, well, you were just, if you ever did multi-class and do wizard, then I guess you were always proficient in it. I don't know how the whole weave thing works there, you know? What about Magitech Crown of Control that makes you fight a frozen whelk? Wait, hold on. Makes you fight a frozen whelk / esper while piloting a mech at the start of the campaign. I think we're playing the wrong game. I think you want battle tech. Yeah, I think you want battle tech. So natural aptitude is wizard, force sensitivity is sorcerer. Yeah, and I'm not sure if that's a great way of doing magic in a world, you know? Or even like in some ways, I have this like intuition that potentially magic should be something that is like, I don't know, restricted in a way. I guess it's really, do you want to have a hard or soft magic system? And then you can kind of figure out how to handle it from that point. And I still am not entirely sure what's better for storytelling. You know? Like some innate skills, for example, I can throw a football at Tom, but Tom Brady is a little bit better at it. A little bit better, you say? Oh, yeah, just slightly. Yeah, no, it's like well, then it becomes commonplace and solves a lot of problems, doesn't it? You want Final Fantasy 6 back? Dude, aren't they doing a remake of that sometime soon? I thought I heard some like leak or whatever about that shit. They were doing like a Final Fantasy 7 remake style of 6, which would be, that would go hard, right? That'd go real hard. That'd be the only one pre-10 that I would really want a remake of, I think, unless it is a 7 level remake of 8. But 6 would have been like the one I would have shot for first. So Crucial based off of the int score. and that's way to restrict it mechanically, but narratively then. Because, like, you think about, so in Sanderson's world, he has a pretty hard magic system, right? If I'm not mistaken, like, anyone can use magic. I don't know, is Ella around? Anyone can use magic, but you have to sort of, like, you have to manipulate the system, however it's set up, to be able to use magic. And then if you do so, you can use magic. I'm pretty sure that's how Sanderson works. Then you have on sort of the other side of it, the other field of it is really like for the most part in Lord of the Rings, the only people that can actually do magic are the wizards. And so you can't just like create a character that can do magic. Now, obviously, the elves have their own magic. It's a lot more diminished than the wizards' form of magic, which is still a diminished form of what their sort of true power is for reasons. But their magic is linked to their sort of like immortality as like the children of the firstborn of Iluvatar. So even then you're kind of restricting it. And I don't know if I like the idea of saying something along the lines of like, oh, like if you the more solid your magic system is, the less fun I think you'd be to restrict it. So like if you want to be a sorcerer or a conjurer of any variety, you have to pick like elf or Mithara or whatever. I think I prefer the force way of doing it, that you're just kind of force sensitive or not. But I don't know. I still don't know. How accessible is it? You know, what stops? I think maybe what it is, what I think maybe what it is something that would be like in between a little bit, but more on the side of natural aptitude. So like your average sort of peasantry in a town village, sort of like, you know, shoveling hay and pig ears into their cart or whatever, that person probably couldn't do magic no matter how hard they tried. Or they were born with the gift, they just had no idea, right? But there's like a big pushback sort of right now in narrative media for the chosen one, as it were, for people that were born with some exceptional gift. And I think in some ways that makes the character non-relatable. And we've talked about like Star Wars at length as far as the narrative themes behind it. And the narrative theme in some ways, I think, behind Star Wars, it makes it sort of a compelling hero's journey, is that Luke is the every person. Anyone could be sort of like swept up in this whole adventure. Now, obviously, he has this sort of like birthright of an incredible sort of ancestry of force using whatever. But I think that that's sort of in some ways like acknowledged in some way by the story as a convenient plot device that doesn't necessarily detract from the idea that he's sort of the everyman, whatever, just a kid from a farm. But then again, you can't ignore the fact that then you have to put that actual sort of like thing in there of giving him that kind of like inherited potency in the force. So yeah, I mean, do you really have stories of people that are just like the average every person sort of rising up and becoming something great? It's kind of like the Superman story that people get wrong. You know, people who don't like Superman, people can not like Superman for any reason, that's fine. But a lot of people who don't like Superman, I find, quote the fact that he's like, oh, he can do anything, he's indestructible, he can fly, he can see through laser walls and shoot spikes from his ass or whatever, you know, like he can do everything. But the thing that I always appreciate about the good Superman stories is that Superman's powers are sort of a bit of a, like, if that's what you're focused on, I think you miss the point behind Superman, you know, because even in my opinion, the whole point of Superman is to say that the superpower that he has is being a good person. And the difficulty in sort of like maintaining, like the most difficult thing to do is to be a good person, and that is a superpower. And so the fact that he has all the powers in the universe, and he's this like basically demigod on the earth, in my opinion, is to show that even with all the powers of whatever at your fingertips, what makes him a hero is the choice to be a good person. And so it's kind of a distraction, I think, if people are like completely just focused on the fact that he has these powers. But again, you can't necessarily ignore the fact that then he does have the powers. And so how do you tell a story about an average person that makes those choices, makes the right choices and does the right thing? And that's like an interesting idea of how could you tell an epic story? Could you tell something in that way without, like, what's maybe the closest thing to that? Like, maybe you could say Frodo or Bilbo, because in some ways Harry Potter inherited a very powerful legacy and is a chosen one, and Paul Atreides inherited a powerful legacy and is a chosen one. But maybe like Frodo and Bilbo are just kind of the dudes. They're just chilling. Maybe that's the best way to tell a story like this. I don't know. But then if you have magic users in the story, what role do they have narratively? What role do they play narratively? And like for a TTRPG where people want to play magic-based casts and wield magical powers and stuff, are they then like sort of in some ways forced to carry a legacy of whatever that magical power implies, that you are different somehow, that you're special, that you've been chosen by some sort of magical forces? Or is it better for you to just be to create magic as something everyone can pick up? You know, it's kind of a bit of maybe a selfish request to have your cake and eat it too, to be able to perform spell crafting and change the world around you with imagination and whatever. To live in a world where everyone has access to it, it would change the world in the ways that we couldn't maybe write compellingly, you know? And it would change the actions of people who don't have that. It becomes an arms race then, in some ways. And so, do we just kind of sweep that inconvenience under the rug and tell a story of magic, whatever, where sword-wielding knights can compete and keep up with somebody that can conjure fucking flames from their, you know, hands or whatever? I think it's the kind of thing that nobody would question, like why or if or you should restrict. And if you ask 100 DMs, or writers or people who are enthusiasts about fantasy, if restricting magic to something that is like very rare is a good idea for a TTRPG, I'm sure like 99 of them would say no. But I don't necessarily think that 99 has thought it out. I don't think it's that like easy or obvious of an answer, you know? Are knights by definition some kind of chosen one? Knights are, absolutely. But that's okay, because where they belong narratively, I'm totally fine with them being sort of a chosen one in that way. It's about the access to general magic flows for the every person. So like Kolos, you can say is a chosen one 100%. But is Veyron, you know, is she relatable because she picked up she chose to pick up the mantle of an astral sage and choose to wield magical powers? Or is it once you have a magic user, they're inherently a chosen one at that point in time? You know, is the story even relatable? You know, or does it even have to be relatable on that fact? Can you still have the argument behind Star Wars and Superman and Harry Potter, I think, is can you still tell a story that resonates with people that is about a chosen one? But there's for a lot of people that would argue in sort of the modern day, I'm not saying that they're thinking this through all that well. I think a lot of people have opinions they haven't thought through that well. There's a lot of people that make the argument, whether it's good or bad, that a chosen one cannot be related to. That character is inherently unrelatable because their circumstances that they've been like sort of blessed with the gifts of whatever to go do great things. And how does that relate to me, a guy who works in tech, you know, for $60,000 a year in the middle of the fucking, you know, wilderness or whatever, sent flyover country? So yeah, man, like I think about this a lot for writing a story for Eldara. How does the hero's journey define somebody choosing to answer the call to adventure? Is it that the hold on, let me think this here for a second. Is it that the call to adventure is the same basic call for a hero that's a chosen one versus not? It's just them being a chosen one makes it more fantastical. But then a lot of people lose the importance of the hero's journey in the fact that they simply are a chosen one. People discount the hero's journey for someone like Luke or Harry or whatever because they are a chosen one. But the intuition there is that then you can have a chosen one that still goes through the hero's journey, because otherwise, why the fuck would these stories be popular? Like, in some ways, I'm like leaning into the people who like to overly intellectualize everything and trying to figure out how to like convince them of the story. But it's not like the average person. Like you, when you were 10 years old reading Harry Potter for the first time, you didn't think about like, oh, this is unrelatable. I don't relate to Harry because he was a chosen one. You know what I mean? Like you were just 10. Your intuition was, wow, wizards, they're cool. Or like, wow, Luke Skywalker going off and becoming a Jedi. I want to be a Jedi too. It's like, it's almost like the people that have a problem with a hero's journey being about a chosen one and say that therefore it's unrelatable. Those people in some ways are the minority because they think that because they have a reason, or because they have logically applied a reason as to why the person can't be relatable, they can be correct, but the problem is you have 100 other people that don't care. You know what I mean? God, how do I... Hold on. There's got to be a way to, like, sort of solidify that idea better. Initiation rite is pretty intense. It is, yeah. Good to see you, Meaty Mancer. What's up, bro? Astronauts are Evan's hero Jedi class. Kind of, I guess you could say, yeah. You know, you have to sort of be your force of will is what determines, like, you're already sort of then either chosen or not, but your force of will is what determines whether or not you are a Jedi or become a knight, sort of like Jedi have the potential to be whatever. So yeah, there's definitely there's a strong, I think it's like, whenever you have somebody that is sort of this like monk-like wielder of great power and is a sword user, you know, the whole like idea of knight, paladin, samurai, or of Jedi, paladin, samurai, those things are all going to kind of be brought up a lot, because there's a lot of central themes there. So chosen one can be the average dude who gets chosen. Yeah, but the problem is when you have stories like, I'm not sure how much of this discussion you've been here for next. But the argument is that when people discount the relatability of a person like Luke Skywalker, who was chosen from birth, that's the idea of the chosen one. I think somebody who is plucked up is definitely a relatable story of like you being whisked away on adventure. That's definitely fine, and that might be more in the kind of the Chronicles of Narnia style of thing. Maybe maybe that's a bad example, but that's just what hit my head. You know, the front of my brain immediately. Is Narnia might be the example there, but really it feels like a lot of sort of the most impactful stories about kind of like the hero's journey in the last, you know, maybe like 40-50 years, like the modern age of storytelling. A lot of them are you're born with superpowers, or you're born as a Jedi, or you're born as a wizard, or you're born as whatever, and so now you're off to go answer the call and go be the chosen one in some ways. So I'm always suspicious of listening to, like, somebody can make a very real, and you'll see this happen on stream. If you're here long enough and you watch for it like enough, you'll see it. Someone will make a logical argument why an idea in Eldara doesn't work, and I'll respond with something like, trusting my gut on this one. Because if you ask people, like we all know that idea, whatever it is correct and works, but we don't know why. And if you try and explain it logically, and that's the intellectualization, of that idea, that like, yeah, logically that doesn't work, but it really fucking fits. If you do that too brazenly, you get stupid ideas. Like, you know, that's when people say like, oh, anything can be fantasy. So, you know, whatever, things that don't fit and don't work and don't make sense on an intuition level start being the norm then.
Imagine
and that's...
having a sub anniversary and not including.
Okay, let me look that up in a second. Thanks to tier 3 sub for 58 months, bro. Thank you. Remind me in a second once I'm done my monologue nobody cares about, that I'm just in the middle trying to figure this idea out real quick. But thanks for the sub, man. I appreciate it. Also, Anakin is in the world chosen one because he had Luke to be born to help bring balance to the Force for like 7 years in Legends or 30 in Disney. Yeah, I mean, the Thrill of Adventure apple is like definitely the whole point of it, right? And trying to like apply that into a way that feels seamless. Basically, the problem is we all we all know what it feels like to be listening to a great story and taken whisked away on an adventure. The problem is sometimes I think that when you get people that say like, oh, you get two different complaints that are the exact same words out of somebody's mouth, and it's like, oh, this isn't very believable. one person that says that, one group of people that say that are right, and it's like you're missing something big in there. The other people are wrong because they are sort of like trying to overly intellectualize an idea, and they're missing the point. They're missing the charm. They're missing the thrill of adventure. And so it's like, how much do you explain an idea or make it work, sort of like rationalize your idea so that it can kind of capture the most amount of people with the kind of like, you know, suspension of disbelief without, because if you step over and you try and make it too mechanical and make it work for every last person, every single person that can't, it's like completely bulletproof, no plot holes, nothing in it. It's like the Eagles in Lord of the Rings. If you complain about the Eagles not just flying to Mordor, I think you miss the entire point of Lord of the Rings. And so you're either the kind of person that does that or not. You know, you're the kind of person that, or even better, the power of the wizards in Lord of the Rings. If you're the kind of person that complains of the power of the wizards, how it's not believable because the wizards could just go to to walk to Mordor with their full, you know, Valar and Maiar or Maya powers, and just defeat Sauron, just defeat him, then why don't they just do that? And the whole point is that like, well, that would kind of defeat the point of the story. The point of the wizards being there to like guide the mortal races, and as opposed to just solving the problem for them. And so you either can accept that or you can't. And it's like, I think that like 99% of people can accept it, maybe 98, 96% of people can accept it, but 4% of people can't. And so if you try and over rationalize to like, if you rationalize a story enough to encompass all 100% of people, then you lose all, you begin sacrificing the charm and the inherent qualities of the thrill of the adventure. You begin sacrificing that in the name of pleasing people who are going to be pedantic about certain ideas. And so how do you rationalize an idea far enough that it sort of seems believable and pulls people in, but not go too far? But if you listen to people and their feedback, they'll say the same thing. You'll have one person say, yeah, I don't really get why they're doing this. This doesn't make sense to me. And you're like, okay, now I need to like figure my idea out. I need to like flesh it out a bit more because it's clearly not working with this person. But then if you have somebody say, yes, this is not believable or whatever, I don't believe, you know, I don't like this. And you're like, okay, well, that person wants me to go too far. And trying to separate the both those sort of like feedback independently is, I think, really almost impossible to do. Unless, I mean, impossible, like for me so far it's been impossible. It's impossible to tell somebody's like complaints by just like a, I don't believe this yet. It isn't a thought through idea enough for me. You know, with just that right there, I can't parse through because it sounds the exact same when it comes from both people. Obviously, once you probe them and you ask them things about like why this or why that, then you start to see people that are kind of like on that fringe end. Oh, you just want this to work in every logical scenario because you want to seem clever. Because that's what a lot of it is. They want to seem clever. They want to outsmart the story. And I think if you go through and you try and outsmart stories, you lose the entire fucking point of the story. It's like the kind of person that wants to outsmart a story wants to be right when they're arguing with their spouse. That is maybe the best analogy I could. Oh my God, that's the analogy. The kind of person that wants to poke holes and outsmart a story is the kind of person that wants to be right when they argue with their fucking significant other. Sure, you can be right, but you're missing the point. Which is, maybe that's the best way to look at it. Holy shit. Yeah, that's the analogy. When somebody wants to poke holes and outsmart and be more clever than Lord of the Rings, I bet you try and win arguments with your spouse. Because guess what? If you're with somebody for any amount of time, winning an argument means somebody has to lose an argument. And if one of the two of you loses an argument, you both just lost the argument because there's no separation between where one of your experience in life starts and the other ends. Dude, that's the best fucking reference or analogy that I've hit all year. Good God. Okay, that's the exact way to think about it. People say this isn't believable are those guys who said it didn't happen on Reddit. The disclosure of the story doesn't depend on it being believable. Yeah, like actually though, right? Yeah, for sure. And so trying to figure out an idea far enough along that it feels right is maybe just something you have to like kind of feel out for yourself. You kind of have to gauge response. And if I say that magic is something that you have to inherit through divine chosen oneness, and people are kind of, they're just kind of like, I don't like that, but they don't know why. That's good enough. Or if you're like, yeah, man, you can be an astral sage, but like, who can anyone learn sagecraft? And I'm like, no, you have to kind of be born with an aptitude towards it. And people are like, okay, then I want my character to be born with an aptitude towards it. You're like, oh, great, that was just accepted. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, great. Then that's fine. That's like a suspension of disbelief or whatever, or an inconvenience in the storytelling that seems to resonate and not get in the way of things. And all like, that's the thing about all these ideas. I think all these ideas, they don't have to be rock solid. They just have to not get in the way of the story. Just like the way that a lot of this stuff worked in, I don't know, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, which is our big three examples because everybody knows them. A lot of the inconvenient plot holes, like that's the thing. People will judge. Okay, wait, hold on. I think this might be a good way of wording this. People who judge a story for having the presence of plot holes are missing the point. Plot holes in a story are perfectly fine so long as they are not on the main road. If a plot hole is so big, grievous, or like front facing that the story will fall through it, then it's a problem. But a lot of people will look at a story that has a plot hole over on the side or over there or whatever, and they'll judge the story as bad simply for the presence of a plot hole. But I think what that implies, again, is the person that's trying to outsmart the story. They will look at a story for the plot hole and not see the entire fucking highway of a journey that they can take if they just simply enjoy the ride. It's the inability to enjoy the ride. Dude, yeah, that's what it is. Okay. I think this idea is sort of like solidifying a little bit. Having a plot hole is not. So when somebody sort of like that I think is the way to tell. If somebody says that a plot hole is sort of like, yeah, man, the plot hole's kind of like right in the middle of the road. It's like awkward. It's like whatever. It's like, when that's true. Everyone knows when that's true. But when somebody points somewhere and they say there's a plot hole over there, you're like, okay, and that is like, it's inevitable that there's going to be plot holes in every good story, and every great story has had plot holes in it. And the presence of it doesn't discount from it still being, in its totality, the gestalt of the story being good. So it's about trying to figure out, when you get feedback for your story, I think, where the feedback is coming from. If it is somebody saying that there is a plot hole that's right in the middle of the road and I'm having a hard time getting around it, and I want to get around it, or if the plot hole is somebody saying the plot hole is over there and I'm mad that it exists, it's like, okay, dude, sorry, I can't help you. And that's like people who can't get past, who say, I can't enjoy the Lord of the Rings. You're like, why not? Because the wizard's plot hole of whatever is that they can't just go kill Saruman, or the eagles can't just fly Frodo into Mordor. And it's like, I don't know, man, like, for everybody else here, that doesn't really ruin the story for them, so sorry. I guess you're too clever. You're too smart for the story. Go home and argue with your wife and be right. See where that mindset gets you in life. Okay, all right, so that actually helps, actually. Okay, cool. You thought through the idea then. But yeah, so then how that relates to magic. Does the idea of magic being inherent ruin the story for you? Or does the idea of magic not being inherent, anyone can learn it, but the fact that the world isn't an overrun wasteland of trickery like a Minecraft server that isn't policed, of everyone just conjuring cantrips and learning how to do shit and whatever, does that plot hole, like, which plot hole is less egregious? Because we just sort of sweep both of them away for whichever way you pick. So there's no wrong answer here, I'm realizing. We can choose to make magic inherent or not, and we just don't necessarily have to deal with the ramifications of that plot hole, because that plot hole isn't on the main path and it doesn't interrupt the main story, I don't think. Or something like that. I saw your Barsheer Tower promo card on my desk. I use it for artistic inspiration. That's awesome, dude. I'm honored. There are not many of the Barsheer promos in the existence, and there will never be another print run of them again. So I hope you enjoy it. I was gonna start doing maybe on like Fridays or something, like promo giveaways and stuff, because I've got a bunch here still, because we were actually talking about TCG stuff earlier today. So even got the test packs for some of the packaging, whatever, done. So we're gonna talk about TCG stuff later on in the stream. It's gonna be dope. That's awesome, dude. I'm honored. Plot are where the headcanons go. That's a good way of putting it too. Good morning, Brooklyn. What's up, dude? Just think what would happen if the Eagles flew into Mordor. Sauron would have seen them and had an army waiting or something. And that's fair, but the point that I'm trying to arrive at is you don't need to explain why it doesn't happen. And that explanation, if that's a good enough explanation for you, that's perfect. For me to make sense of that, if I did want to try and if I really needed to make sense of that, like Cass said, that's where the headcanon goes. So I would think something very similar, that an eagle flying into Mordor is a very obvious and whatever thing, and the only reason they could have done that to rescue Frodo, Sam, and Gollum was because, well, in theory, if Gollum was good, that's what the third eagle's there, supposedly anyway, is because obviously Sauron's power had vanished, and so you couldn't just have flown in there. But again, it's even though I can rationalize that the way that and very similar to the way what you just said, it's almost like that's unnecessary to have to place into the story. And to say, oh, there's ballistas all along the whatever, ensuring nothing flies into the mountains. What? Like, who cares, you know? Because people just try and outsmart that, and then you just like get into this arms race of trying to outsmart stuff and out whatever. So those people get denied for the wizard school by you don't have the aptitude for a kid. Damn. Actually true. I do think there's a general misconception on what a plot hole is. The Hobbits not using the giant eagles is not a plot hole. If there were no conflict or anything making the plot irrelevant, that would be a plot hole. Wait, what? The Hobbits not using the giant eagles is not a plot hole. If there was no conflict or anything making the plot irrelevant, that would be a plot hole. Okay, so that's kind of then what I'm saying, yeah. So we can identify things that are not on the road as not plot holes. That's fair. Like, I agree with that. That's kind of my assertion that I'm reaching, I think, in some ways. But I think that they look very similar from a distance, and so people will take things that are sort of incomplete areas, not necessarily holes to fall through, but incomplete areas in the plot, and they will classify all of it as plot holes. So I think that's just kind of a definitional sort of like issue there, you know. Like I would still argue that anything in the story that's sort of like doesn't have an obvious whatever and kind of is a little bit, how does that work? Could be defined as a plot hole. It's just how you want to define the term, you know. But you're right, and that's the whole point, I think. Then is something that kind of is an inconvenience or whatever in there. That's not like it doesn't have to then become a plot hole, right? Just like you said. So it's nice of the book. They answer your why would you do that in the next paragraph, though? It is, because it is satisfying, right? If Sauron had no real reason to want the ring, that would be a plot hole. Exactly. Yes. Okay. Right. I agree. The thing is, though, that when people argue that there's the wizard's power, so you could say a convenience of the writer or a deus ex machina, that those are plot holes. But that's what I'm arguing right now, is that they aren't. So yeah, exactly. Right. Is if it doesn't interrupt the main story, then those things that look like plot holes aren't. And if you want to, you know, reference it or whatever, then it doesn't matter, right? Like people, you don't compromise the story just for having an inconsistency. And so that's like the feedback then to not listen to, is the feedback where people say that there's an inconsistency. You're like, of course there's an inconsistency, but does that inconsistency interrupt the story? No. Okay, then we're not worried about it. You know, but then people will still accuse you of being a lazy writer for not sort of solving every inconsistency in a way that they find personally, you know, satisfying or whatever. So you can't please everyone. And obviously I think trying to please everyone is a surefire way to build mediocrity into. It's like kind of the thing that I always say about HEMA nerds, where I really want HEMA nerds. I want 80% of HEMA nerds to find the combat and arms and armor in Eldara to be compelling. But if I ever reached a point where 100% of HEMA nerds thought that it was, interesting, compelling, and like believable, then I've just done something historical, and that's lame because that's not fantasy. So, it's like trying to avoid pleasing the fringes, whether that's HEMA nerds or people that are going to find and try and poke plot holes in your story or whatever. So, 90% of people are reading a story, listening to a story, aren't good at writing a story. That's actually fair. That's fair. It's like for criticism, you can listen to people who say that doesn't feel good, but don't listen to them on how they want you to fix it. Same thing with like balancing video games and stuff in Warcraft. Listen to people say that they don't like this class or whatever, their rotation, but don't listen to them when they tell you how to fix it. They don't know how to fix it, man. Don't listen to them. Some people don't realize that large inconsistencies in real life are in real life's plot as well. Yeah. And so, like, what is it about the person that wants to find that can't get past like a little what they perceive to be a plot hole or an inconsistency? They view inconsistencies as plot holes. What is it about that sort of like psychology? How do you identify a person that's sort of like coming at it from that point? How can we better identify feedback, criticism, or whatever from a point that like very quickly? When someone, like, for instance, argues with me about something that, I don't know, like Astral Knights using only one type of weapon, or when somebody argues with me about the Geminos not being inherently demonic or whatever, how do we identify, oh, this person just wants to sort of like try and pick holes in things? They're not actually like trying to enjoy it or coming at it from like a genuine standpoint. They're just the kind of person that picks holes and stuff. I don't know if there's a way to identify that right off the rip, Smartest person in the room syndrome. Yeah. Just sound smart and be right. Yeah, might be. I think it probably is that simple, I'm going to say, you're cool, you should drink water. Have you done your stretches recently? I've not done my stretches recently, actually, but haven't been drawing. I've been monologuing about stuff nobody cares about, Soul. So thank you, I appreciate it. Likewise, I hope you're taking care of yourself right now today. Good to see you, Soul. Yeah. Maybe it's worth just like asking somebody, just posing the question, why is this thing that you view as an inconsistency in the story, why does it bother you so much? Maybe just like try and figure out what the issue is, the core issue, to see if there's anything like valid there or something, Anything can be a plot hole if you don't understand the plot. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So really then, should magic be should magic be inherent? And should people be chosen to be born with magical sort of aptitude or not? What makes for a better story? And not for a better D&D game or TTRPG or whatever. Let's look at Eldara, or think of Eldara just as a story on its own. What is better for a narrative epic fantasy story? Is it better for magic to be something that is inherent in some individuals or obtainable by all? Did everyone walk around with cantrips and stuff if they really like learned about it and studied hard and learned the flows of magic and the mechanics of how to use it? I think that's the Sanderson way. Or is magic better if it's just something that people are born with or not? And so it's very rare, and that rarity, because I think I would argue magic is better in fantasy if it is more rare. I on the more rare side than on the more common side. If magic is just completely common everywhere, then it makes magic, I think, like downplayed in its importance, or it's you go to the Elvish city and they've got floating lanterns and they've got crazy sparkly skies that look like the night sky at the top of their under their ceilings and buildings, Or is it something that like everyone has and nothing's fantastic anymore because it's all commonplace? And I'd argue that it's not relatable in some ways if magic is too commonplace. And to do that, I would say then, to preserve its rarity, I would say that magic is something that you have to be born with an aptitude towards. that you're not inherently capable of producing or using magic. And does that remove the every person from being a magical hero? I guess. Does that ruin the story for anybody? I don't think so, to be honest, because that's how we've been telling stories for a while. You know, Harry Potter and fucking Luke Skywalker, I guess. Blanket simulation sounds easy, but it becomes so much more difficult when there's a person, and stuffed animals under the blanket rolling around. Damn. That's rough, bro. How's the outlook of magic in society question? Comes like electricity. It seems bad, and some not having control over it could be a better plot addition. Let's be consistent, but at the end of the day, completely consistent settings have made loved movies and stories. Just to give an example that I think is pretty much agreed upon. Naruto is super inconsistent in its lore, but did it really detract from people enjoying it? It's one of the big three shonen read by millions. What's just because I don't know. Like I agree with you. I don't know Naruto that well. What is like maybe one of the biggest inconsistencies that people could like quote, or is there like not one you can think off the top of your head? What's the difference between someone with an aptitude and a sorcerer? Well, we're not talking about D&D classes. We're talking about stories. So I guess you could say the presence of sorcerers in general. So I'm not worried about the D&D class of sorcerer. It can be attainable by everyone, but not really secretive. That's how it is in Witch Hat Atelier. Be attainable by anyone, but not really secretive. And then we just sort of like brush the inconsistency of why everyone wouldn't use magic then. Which inconsistency is easier to rationalize? And for me, it's easier to rationalize the chosen one problem, I think, than it is the why is it not like ubiquitous amongst all people in all places or whatever. Yeah. So I think then the way I want to handle sages and any practitioners of magic is you have to be born with the possibility, the aptitude, not just aptitude, but the possibility of conjuring magic. And that, oh fuck. That is still kind of a grim idea though in some ways. All right, I'm going to think on this for a little bit. I have to contemplate it, but that's where I'm leaning right now. Is that it's better? It's better story if that is the case than not. So, thank you for your cult member fees, Alf. Appreciate it. There's a bunch aliens making the conflicts beforehand irrelevant. If they just lifted a finger, time travel, how the tail demons work has been retconned and changed about 6 times. Really? Oh shit. The Nine-Tail being a good guy all along, Itachi being a good guy all along. Oh, I see. Okay. So, and people just kind of accept it because they sort of forgive and accept the inconsistencies because the story's good. Right? And so you'll get people that will whine and cry about Naruto not being consistent, but at the end of the day, everyone else is just sort of enjoying the thing for what it is. And that person's inability to enjoying it because it's not like, yeah, okay, I see. I see. I believe I'm in agreement there with that then. And how that works in general. Hard to unlock, like you have to open your chi pathways. So it could be possible, but it'd still be out of reach for most people. So in theory, you could, in some ways, but it just wouldn't be practical or obtainable for most people because they just don't have the resources or means to do so. And there can also be people that are fairly weakly, what's the word? Capable or whatever. You can touch a special orb. Ah, shit. Not the orb again. Yeah, an orb of +1 magic. Get. If I do that, people will never let the orb cult down. They'll turn it into a redeem in the channel. I will make a special orb promo at some point in time. And not like the golden orb card that I gave out to tier 3s in the first month that I did it. I will make a special orb promo. And I will only make a certain amount. And I will keep them all for myself. And no one will ever be able to get one. That's productive, right? You get a +1 orb. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you imagine you got him in your D&D world. Shit. Who do you have to kill? You have to slay 1,000 realistic and feathered goblin monkeys. It's a hidden achievement. Yeah. It's a hidden achievement. If you don't know it exists, then unfortunately, nothing to farm for you, so. Sorry, bro. They've moved on to arguing about power levels in Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man. Okay, good. Generally, so like there will always be people that are dissatisfied, and you'll never be able to please all of them, so don't listen to anyone. Because you never know where they're coming at it from. God, I think that's one of the hardest things as a creative is learning how to like determine what feedback is useful and what feedback isn't. It's very easy when like you're talking about direct skills as an artist. You know this person gets it or they don't. They're better than you or they aren't. They're your art director at a studio or they're not. When it comes to sort of opinions on story and narrative, because it's so accessible, everyone has such strong opinions on how to do it properly. And I guess the best thing is just to write the story that you think is compelling and not worry about it, you know? If someone's like, oh, this doesn't make sense, be like, oh, that's too bad. It makes sense to me. Oh, well. Anyway, you know? I was a child born with an orb in their hand? Damn it. You need to be born with the orb. You're chosen by the force of the divine. You too can be born with an orb. Yeah, okay. Okay. Which opinion on the cult of the orb becoming more popular than the creator? The cult of the orb becoming more popular than the creator. Well, it isn't, to be honest, actually, yeah. I mean, I wish that it was getting a growing popularity, but it unfortunately isn't. Yeah, no, that's I would agree, but I don't have any evidence that it is. You know, so what can we say? You know, that's a Prodesto. But I could get the orb sooner if I make a deal with the dark powers, the Amber Temple of Barovia. But then you'd have to go play Curse of Strahd again, and we both know how that's going to go. So, wouldn't say anyone, but pick and choose who you trust. Basically, I have strong opinions on this. Maybe you agree with, maybe you disagree with. Both are fine. Yes, but what I'm talking about is just general feedback. So obviously, if you are getting test readers or test players or people that sort of like understand what you're sort of going for, that opinions can matter greatly. But what I'm talking about is more the experience of being somebody who like just streams public facing or posts their stuff to the world or whatever, and you just get comments on YouTube videos or people in your chat or whatever saying, hey, this is wrong. Answer for it. It's like, what? You know, you get a YouTube comment of somebody having a big problem with the way you do something or whatever. So, and seeing shorts about the cult of the orb, not tied to you, of course, by another creator. You've seen shorts with the cult of the orb. Oh shit. Well, we'll have to make legal arrangements then to put that down. That's right. We're gonna go H3 on this shit. Just ask how many people agree. Well, that's not. I find that is like sort of because the problem is somebody can make a compelling case about something being like making sense or logical. At the end of the day, it's how many people like how many people does that idea ruin the story for, and then you're still asking for sort of general opinions. It's difficult because someone can make a good point. It's like the entirety of like our sort of modern debate system is built like that. Someone makes a good point, but they can still be wrong. You can win a debate and still be wrong. More or less. So I don't find that a compelling metric, unfortunately. Is like, did people agree with this? You know? And then, because you're always going to get people that say like, oh, I agree with it. Because they agree with the idea of the logical principle the person is sort of like bringing up. But they're not thinking about at it in the totality of the story making sense. I suppose the question you could ask is, does this ruin the story for anyone else? Maybe. That'd be the way to word that. Even then it has problems, but I think that'd be the most productive way to word it. Uno reverse card on your desk. Ooh, that's a good idea. Is there like an emote I can post into YouTube comments that's an Uno or TikTok comments? It's just an Uno reverse card. Really, it's like a bunch of readers are put off by it. Might be an issue. Yeah, right. So you need to see how it impacts people enjoying the story as opposed to one person bringing it up as a problem. Does this thing and like does it do more harm than good for the story I'm trying to tell? At that point, okay, fair enough. You know, we can figure it out. We can work on it. Just like the perspective on her little hair orb things. Field feedback is good. Point out if there's a problem in certain sections. I think they're bad at pointing out what it is for test readers. Yeah. General satisfaction is like maybe a very good metric or whatever. That's probably a good way of thinking about it. Do you find this story, interesting and compelling or not? Or is it dog shit? In which case, we have an issue or whatever. Okay. Do I have anything else to sketch on her? I don't think so. I'm not going to do the whole like hands and whatnot grasping at her astral atlas right now. You know? Then I point out the chapter I don't like this character when the real problem might be pacing. Yeah. So it's like a indication of there is an issue somewhere when understanding that the exact feedback. Again, I think it's very much like World of Warcraft class balancing. People will say like, this isn't fun. You know, like, well, why? It's kind of like people, the complaint that people don't want to have carrying weight in D&D or ammunition is not a complaint that that's a bad system. I think it's a complaint that they don't make it into a fulfilling part of the game to play. And identifying that has been a massive thing for me. So I enforce carrying weight and item capacity and bags and shit like that, but I make sure that it's fun to do so. It's a problem that's enjoyable to overcome, just like in any game, and people stop complaining about it. It's like the problem wasn't actually the fact that managing your inventory was annoying. The problem was that there wasn't any progression or gameplay in managing your inventory. It was a barrier or an impediment to gameplay. It wasn't actual gameplay. But in games and whatnot that do that well, when like you have a survival game or something, it's actually fun. So why do people hate it? Not because it's a bad idea in general, but because it's poorly implemented into D&D or whatever. So all I say is I don't like this character, though. Their feedback is worthless. You need to explain why you don't like the character. Yeah, but that's true. The sort of more the specific case is when somebody starts questioning, why does this thing happen this way? And you're like, oh, because this is the kind of way I want it to feel. And they're like, that's not very good. I don't like that. It doesn't make sense because, and then they start listing out, 15 fucking reasons as to why they think that, you know what I mean? But it's all them sort of missing the point. That even if someone does give good reasons for why they don't like something, they could still be wrong. It's kind of where we arrived earlier at, is that if it doesn't get in the way of the story, then it's actually not a problem at all, And I'm fun designing fantasy fashion for my D&D character. Let's go, Relic. Good. That's all I like to hear. Fantasy fashion is the entire point of the game. Let's just face it. Let's face it. Ooh, the fuck? So, a lot of that comes down to like world building as opposed to narrative. Like we're talking about the book now, but this whole conversation started with the idea of general world building narrative as opposed to linear novel writing or whatever. And like call it arrogance, but I or not. I feel like a lot of times when I'm told that there is an issue with something that is a concept built into the world, almost the entire time, or the 100% of the time I hear someone with an issue with something to do with the world building, they're just missing the point. And it's like, well, that's a great way to not be willing to listen to feedback and not have an open mind. It's like, yeah, but it's also dangerous to listen to feedback, if somebody is missing the point. What's more dangerous? What is more dangerous? Not being accused of not taking feedback and not being able to like listen to feedback, or which we find to be a repulsive thing. It's like a bad thing when you say, oh, that person just does what they want. They don't listen to any feedback. They don't listen to anybody, whatever. They just think they're right all the time. That's a bad thing. But then what's the danger of listening to feedback? How many times has something amazing been made and that person's like, yep, I'm right. This is exactly the way to tell the story. Everyone else is full of shit. I know what I'm talking about. And then they have the work to back it up. It's like, almost like listening to everyone's opinion on how to do something is a surefire way to guarantee mediocrity in your idea. You're listening to like one person's feedback, that's fine, but you listen to, I don't know, enough of a group and you'll get the sort of mean opinion line of the group or whatever. But the way Chain of Acheron did this was interesting with money in their D&D group. I'm not familiar how they did it. They had a treasury die, and if you use enough of the treasury, it went down a value, or if they gained stuff, it could increase the value. The minor expenses that weren't really tracked, kind of like how Daggerheart does money with handfuls of coins, bags, and chest of coins. Yeah, my personal opinion on that, like the way that Draw Steel also does it, is you have a wealth tier. And so you go up in a wealth tier when you find a great amount of treasure, and you go down in a wealth tier when you spend, like, something will cost a wealth tier. Like, you want to buy a castle, it's going to cost you 4 wealth tiers, right? And so you need to be tier 5 and then go down to tier 1. Like, that's a lot. And then as you increase in wealth tiers, you will certain expenses don't matter to you anymore. So like by wealth tier 2, for instance, you don't need to worry about inns and food and things like that. And by wealth tier 3, whatever else gets sort of automated. These are all solutions again to oh, the folks make Draw Steel. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. That's sick. So the issue is with that, I still think that you're circumventing, when you create a rule like that, you're circumventing the actual issue. Like you're saying, here's how to not have to track money, when I don't think tracking money or not is the problem. I think counting your gold and your stacks of coins and whatnot, those kind of things, that's actually, but the problem with any of these systems, in my opinion, is that they need to have something fun that you can engage with. Because like the argument is that that needing to track like money, for instance, in your D&D game is an arbitrary challenge. Like, what's the point of this? It's a challenge that doesn't get you anything. So you have to now do this inconvenience. Why don't you just have the money you need? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I think that that's also like true. Like you could say that about any game. What's the point of like rolling dice to decide if you hit the enemy? Why not just decide what's the most dramatic thing to happen, the best outcome narratively? That's what we're really getting for when we're playing the game. In some ways, we're getting the most interesting narrative experience and the most satisfying gameplay. And so I think that a lot of these mechanics for games like tracking gold or whatever, or tracking item carrying capacity, all that kind of stuff, I think that as long as it's fun and there's a way to sort of do it so that you feel like you're gaming the system and making the system fun and gamifying the whole experience, then it is suddenly fun. And the removal of it is a lost opportunity to have that fun gameplay, in my opinion. It's kind of like, well, in Minecraft, why do I have to cut down wood and mine stone? I can just mine stone in any direction. I can mine cobblestone. Why can't I just have ultimate, like an unlimited cobblestone block in Minecraft? Why is it? Because the gameplay in some ways is in the collection and the automation and the whatever, and you get a better pick so you can get more cobblestone more efficiently and things like that. So there's gameplay around the collection and management of that finite resource. In some ways, that's like, why play Minecraft on survival when you could play it on creative? And so a lot of those challenges that are fun to overcome in survival are what make that game mode have spice. And I think that D&D is in some ways removing, most TTRPGs in D&D they keep removing the survival elements of the game in favor of not having to deal with it, in just getting down to the concentrated, pure, military grade dopamine that you inject right into your veins. So you just have the narrative, the role play, and the dramatic dice. It's kind of like the way, and again, I really like Draw Steel, but Draw Steel does this with like success and failures and attacks and stuff like this, where you don't necessarily fail a thing, you fail it well or fail it poorly. You Daggerheart has a similar idea in certain ways, where they don't want they don't want other game systems to get in the way of the part of the game that they really like, the juice. It's like kind of taking an RPG and turning it into a visual novel. You don't want to have to do combats. You just want to get to the point where back to the like role play. You want to get back to the dialogue and the characters and the options. But the thing is, visual novels are great. So are role-playing games, and so you get a game like Persona for RPG nerds that has that RP stuff in it, decision trees, things like that. You get a game like Mass Effect that has that with sort of RPG and shooting elements in there, Dragon Age, and you get the best of both worlds. But having a sheer, specifically only tactical game without any dialogue trees is kind of like, But then you get a specific, like a sheer RP game that's just visual novel and doesn't have any sort of like gameplay in it. You're like, I mean, I don't know if that's obviously that opinion isn't shared by a lot of people that like those two genres of games, but I find a lot of people feel that way, where they like a mixture like Baldur's Gate, where Baldur's Gate has combat and RP. It has both those systems in it. Now, one thing is not designed to skip to the other. You don't just have one part of the game that's the good shit. That's the solid fucking concentrated juice. And so for D&D, I think that the survival element of the game is really fun and really important to the gameplay. And I keep seeing that taken away in favor of getting to the meaty combat and RP that people like about D&D. But it always seems like a lost opportunity to me. So that's why even the way that Draw Steel does like wealth, I don't particularly like, Could be an interesting blend alongside the, okay, how are you going to carry all this back to your base in order to increase your wealth tier? Sure, yeah. Like tracking the amount of shiny coins. Yeah, me too, right? I know when I can turn my money into a large bed of coins to sleep on it. Exactly. You have enough coins to make a Scrooge McDuck style pool that you wouldn't just fall on and break your neck, but could actually swim through because, leave me alone, it's my fantasy game. The treasury. I want back in my treasury, bro. Let me back in there. Or some shit, I don't know, man. I don't know, dog. What do I look like? A DM? Think I know what I want out of my games? Okay. Do a little bit of a cloak on this, and then we'll sign it and move on to some trading card shit. Air floor that keeps it fluffy. Exactly. Dude, I'm gonna build a treasury in my World of Warcraft house whenever we get housing. I want to build a fucking treasure room. I always build a secret treasure room in every Minecraft base Ella and I have ever played over the years. Anytime we decide to play Minecraft for a couple weeks or whatever, we build a base. I usually build the base myself, and she does the adventuring and shit. She mines the diamonds, and I build the walls. Much like the Bastion song. But I always build a secret treasure room and see how long it is before she finds it. So in my Warcraft house I'm building a treasure room. I really wish I could do that in Final Fantasy XIV, but you only don't have so much space, and I don't have a mansion. Nor could I afford to have a mansion in Final Fantasy XIV, unfortunately. Much as I'd like to. Have they had housing already? No, the housing thing is in development right now. It's on the PTR or whatever. It is not currently live in the game. If housing was live in World of Warcraft, you think I'd be live on Twitch right now? Dude, I'd be an unshowered fucking mess. Eating craft dinner and playing World of Warcraft. Think I'd be doing anything productive? Stream it live? Yeah. I don't think anyone wants to watch me do housing. I don't know how entertaining that would be. No, I'll have fun with it, but I'm not going to go that hard on it. The hat was so we could avoid showers and judgment. The hat was initially to avoid me like having to pull my bangs out of my eyes. You want to know the secret of the hat? The true secret of the hat? Also why I never changed the hat, even though I have lots of hats. So the thing is, the hat was designed because if my hair grows too long and my bangs fall in my eyes, I like to have something to keep it out. Also, this light's kind of bright when I'm trying to stare at my computer. Whatever, it's nice to have it like kind of blocked out of my direct vision. The reason why I never show up on stream, like when I got my hair cut this week, why do I not show up on stream with my hair cut when I don't need the hat, is because anytime I show up on stream with anything visually different about me other than any kind of jewelry that I wear or shirt that I wear, people become super obnoxious about it. So the best thing to do is just to maintain a uniform every day, and then you don't have to hear people like the 15th person in one stream be like, "Oh my god, are you growing a beard?" I'm like, yeah, dude, I am. Talked about it like 12 times today so far, or you have to ignore the message, and they're like, "I'm being ignored by my streamer. My streamer doesn't like me anymore. I'm mad now." Unsub. So the hat, in some ways, is just to maintain continuity. No, bro. Sometimes I wish I didn't have to wear the hat, because then my hair doesn't get all grungy and I don't get hat head. Like once the hat goes on, I won't take the hat off because the hat hair is just too potent, and I don't want to get fucking clipped and screenshot with crazy ass gangly fucking grease tendril hair. No, man, I wish I could avoid the hat. Yeah, dude. That'd be great. That'd be pretty good. Maybe one day I'll just say screw it. Show up on stream hatless and just ban anybody in chat that mentions it. Look at me. I am the captain now. We're all cats, and weird change will make us yowl in stranger danger. Yeah, apparently. Apparently. My hair's pretty short. I took a picture of myself this morning at the gym, I think, with my hat on. My hair's shorter than it usually is. I'll show you. Can I not zoom in? There you go. Yeah, my hair's like a lot shorter than it usually is right now, so I got it done real short on them sides. But can't do it, man. Can't show up to stream with that hat on. And then you get the people, well, they get upset. I gotta hear about it, unfortunately. My chat doesn't move fast enough to ignore, like, 30% of the messages I see in it. The guy I met at ArtCon, there you go. Yeah. That's right. All right, Varen. What else are we doing this piece? Maybe let's do a real quick little pass here of... just tone. Even though I'll probably nuke this later. For now, for the sort of bust portrait piece, it will be fine. Then we'll erase it out. Chop at it a little bit. And be good to go. She was great. Thanks, Brooklyn. Glad you like her. She's gonna be a very important character to me, so I'm thrilled that you approve. Okay, well, silence for now. Again, I'm gonna be doing the... Hold on. We'll end the recording. And then... So the whole idea is to have the... like, oops, the Astral Atlas. I want a really close in sort of image of her and Kolos together. So along with this would be maybe her arm would be a little bit further down, but her atlas is kind of like in here type thing. And then do our boy Kolos like in here, looking over his shoulder as well. Have his big cloak dramatically billowing in the wind. And then he would be... We'll have his, like, an astronaut tattoo or whatever on his shoulder, something, his gauntlet. Here. Well, their hands to be, like, pretty close together. And then something like... Actually, no, I want them to be more ready. I don't want to be his arm to be like... Yeah, something like this. And then the two of them can kind of... be like looking over something over here in this direction or whatever. I don't know, or maybe he's like looking this way, you know, she's looking this way, he's looking this way. And they're kind of like both And whatever, he maybe his sword's gonna be held up a little bit higher or something. There's more of a readiness then to them. Or whatever. I don't know, but that's a little like, maybe I put it up. His arm sticks out more and goes in. I'll figure it out, but I kind of have this idea for the two of them that I want to do like a joint portrait of them like on their adventure somewhere, so. Alright, looks like it's gonna be cool to see the finished project both of them. Yeah, thanks dude, appreciate it. Yeah, this serves enough as the portrait. I want to do just the portrait of him and her. As long as I have an idea of sort of like them, they're both gonna be kind of looking over their shoulder, then I can just kind of like do... I can just like do the portrait of each and then expand it later, which is something I don't usually do, but here I'm just trying to be efficient because I don't want to spend enough time to doing like a whole framed whatever thing for them when I've got so much else to do. So is the Atlas floating orb with the metal bits added? Yeah, it's the one from other pieces that you've seen me do of Astral Sages. You want to see some Sage? Atlas bury its spikes into a bad guy to end the story. Yeah. I mean, depends on the Sage. Some of them use it as weapons, you know. It's not like completely uncommon, unheard of, never to be done ever. I don't know. Give me a sec. I'm gonna go refill my water. When I get back, we need to start thinking about doing some layout stuff for trading cards. So, we need some ideas and some help picking out some arts that are the good arts. So, give me 1 second. No revolts. I'm watching you. I'm watching you. Oh yeah, I got back just in time for ads, yo. Let's go, dude. I wonder what kind of ads I get on my own stream, to be honest. I know Twitch hasn't been doing a great job at, let me post this actually real quick. I know Twitch hasn't been doing a great job at, like, picking ads for people recently, so I always find it funny when people tell me, like, bro, you seen the kind of ads I get on your stream? What the fuck, man? They don't know who I am even the slightest. I'm always amused by it. I remember who it was, but somebody said Twitch seems to think that I'm a woman in her mid-30s that has 2 kids, and I'm like a 23-year-old engineering student that's a dude that plays too much games in Warhammer or whatever. That's like that is stuck in my head rent-free for the last like couple months. Couldn't help you? Yeah, that's okay. I'm glad you have no idea what ads look like on my stream. Makes me happy. PNG. Okay. Varen. There we go. Save our homegirl Varen. Could not be. What the fuck? What do you mean disk is full? Oh snap. Oh shit. Did the recording record properly? Why isn't it letting me? Oh god. Okay. Oh no. Oh wait, whoops, I want to crop. Okay, now I should be able to save. Save as... I gotta get a new fucking hard drive, man. Oh my god. Art vault. Oh boy. I need like a video dedicated hard drive, I think. I think that's what I need to do. I gotta go to the computer store, bro. I gotta go to the computer store. I gotta buy a hard... How much is a hard drive? Quick to coffee. Open more. I gotta open more character slots. Time to open the furry slots. Photoshop saves a lot of temp data. Yeah, I do that every once in a while, but the issue is the recordings that I make. Like I deleted my Veilus recordings and just cleared out like a substantial portion of it. So I just forgot to yesterday. I didn't make a video yesterday. I made the process video for Veilus, but I didn't actually like make a video out of it. So. Your store is 4x as much as ordering one. It's fortunately not at the computer store that I go to. It's a small chain in Western Canada. Actually, they're in Eastern Canada now too, but it's actually the best prices or whatever. They're not like a big like Best Buy type store. It's just a super nerdy computer store, and they're on point with like, you know, they're like a Newegg or any of those type of stores. I don't know what you guys have in the US, so. All right, maybe we should post. Dude, I gotta. Someone said I should be posting carousels, and I agree. Let's make a post. Let's make a post. So let's do. Where are some card characters I've done? We're gonna do Varen. Varen. We're gonna crop it like that. We're gonna add. What else have I done recently? What other art have I done? What art have I done recently? Missions. All missions. I did this one for bro. I did Eddie. What else did I do? Boy, I've not been doing a lot of commissions. Lexer's character. Next. What do we say? Couple of characters. A couple of characters from the last few weeks. There we go. Okay. Now you can't say I never post actual images. I only post videos. Actual image. Done. Full Instagram carousel complete. Maybe we'll see. It says sharing. Need a yottabyte drive for you to have. Yo, dude, that'd be sick. Yo, can I afford one of those? Hey, and there it is. Okay, 1, did they look good? 2, 3, 4. Neato. Look at them. Look at them all, dude. See, not just videos. Not just infinite fucking videos. God. I'm the worst artist I know. I'm the worst artist I know. Can you imagine that? All right. All right. So, as promised, boys, we got a little project here. We got a little thing to do. We got some cards to do, bro. We got some things to number, some whatevers to order. All right. So today I want to organize and pick and make sure we like the full set, make sure it's all numbered and good. First things first for our base cards. I gotta make sure they're all numbered correctly, okay? So, 25 card base. Let's go through them. We have our Eldarian Sky Knights. Number 2 is the Northmark Forge Hut. Number 3 is Natalie Landris. Number 4 is Zephyr Grandcrest. Number 5 is the Tree of Invor. Number 6 is the Earth Elemental, a favorite. Gorn Red Spice Captain is number 7. Number 8 is Evangeline of Kornithar. Number 9 is Sabine Kernam. Number 10 is Malaya, Astral Sage. Number 11 is the Ancient Sage Temple. Number 12, of course, is Old Kelhet. Number 13 is the Shadow of Azathan. 14 are the Pools of Arador. 15 is the Asari Gate. Plural. 16 is Ancient Novalia. 17 is the Consortium Parish Master. 18 is the Aru Kai Monk. What's that line? What line? The blue line? It's a guide in Photoshop. It doesn't show up on prints or anything. Number 19 is the Shrine of Vec. Number 20 is the very important, very rare, very sought after Relician Feathered Goblin Monkey card. I'm going to do some sketch Goblin Monkey cards, which are going to be dope. Number 21 is High Crest Hamlet, and of course number 22 is Lord Ashton. Number 23 is the Beacon of Mar. Number 24 is Mala Bright Meadow, not to be confused with Malaya. Who are those monks? They're kind of like Astral Sage monks, I guess you could say. It's the monk subclass that I'll make eventually. And number 20 is Astari Meditation. So now we have 25 base cards, plus I believe there's going to be 5 maps. So we need to organize these, because I added at some point in time, I added 5 more base cards. So they start at 21, but they need to start at 26. 27, 28, 29, which means all the cards after need to be reordered. Oh my god. Okay. So the Shattered Sea. Let's close our base card design down. Base cards. There we go. Okay. Where were our little numbers on here? Ha. Down the corner. I see you. I see you. 26. Map is in fact card number 26, not card number 21. Lemashir. It's card number 27, I believe. 27. That's a nice one. I like this map. Card number 28 is the Relic Coast, an important map for me. One of the oldest to be exact, actually. The second oldest. 29 is Northmark, the Northmark Alliance. I really want to do larger scale. Like when I redo the maps, man. Ooh, I have plans for gigantic map prints. You have no idea. Like, actually, let me make a file real quick here. I'm just curious. How big are new maps gonna be? File new. So they're gonna be 17 inches or 15 inches tall, I guess. And I want to make them 30 inches wide. Oh god, that's so much space to work with. Okay, sick. So that leaves the last map, which is Ashasari, as map number 30. Just count them through again. So 25. So the last card for the base cards was card number 25. Then we have card number 26, 27, 28, 29. Why is number 30 in a different spot? Uh-oh. Scandalous. Get up there. Get up there. All right. All right. There we go. There we go. Now he fits. Now he fits. So those are the 30 cards you could consider to be the base. The print sheet of the 25 base cards looks like this, because these print sheets print 25. So I'll have to do like 5 of each map for a print sheet, and that's fine too. A full map print sheet would look pretty rad, wouldn't it? It'd be kind of cool. They all say Eldar Series 1 on them and have the first edition stamp. Great. Okay, maps are done from card 24 or 26 through 30. Now, rares. Rares are going to be... how many rares are there going to be of each one? So I organized this at some point in time, didn't I? Google Docs. Let's figure out a print run here. As I was obviously stunned to see the excitement of my guild, my precious guild, to these cards at the beginning of stream. What did I decide? Okay, print run for first edition. So series 1 first edition, 250 packs, 20 boxes, and 9 packs. What? No. 3 print pages of each of the 25. Okay. So it'll come with 5 commons, a map, and a rare, and maybe a magic item. I don't know if I like the idea of that or not. So 7 or 8 card packs. 150 cards. So we have 10 rares, and they will each be to 15. So there will only be 15 of each rare. And then epics, there will be 6 epics to 5. Then there will be 5 legendaries to 3. And 5 relics that are 1 of 1s. 15 sketch cards on illustration board and 15 sketch cards in general, as well as secret rares. I was also going to put promos in there. So, let me get my calculator out here. I need to make up for... Oops, what the fuck? No, I don't want to search calculator on the internet. I want my calculator. So 10 rares at, let's see, 10 rares at 15 each is 150 cards, 150 instances of booster packs. Then 5 instances of epics is going to be 30 cards. And then we have 15 or 3 of each of, or 5, no, wait, 3 of each of 5 legendaries. Yeah. 3 of each of 5 legendaries is 15. Then we have 15 sketch cards on regular, whatever, and 15 sketch cards on illustration boards. So that's plus 30. Those 225. Then we have 2 secret rare slots, 10. Then plus I want to do 5 promo cards of different varieties. Cool. What if I increased the rares to 20? No, I don't like that. It's too much of a printer for them. Okay, cool. This works. So we need 10 rares then. So we have rare number... We have Amelia, which is rare number 31. Scarlet Starbreeze is rare number 32. Ella Blackwood is rare number 33. Charlotte Swati, 34. Novalia Eldari Runes, 35. Runa is 36. Ooh, Runa should be a secret rare though, shouldn't she? Ooh. Maybe I should do that instead. Character design for Amelia is way cool. I'm glad you like it. It's my favorite character I've ever done. Yeah. The Growlhammer is the paladin order that Amelia is in charge of. So, that was the first paladin order that... That was the first paladin order that that I made for Southwood. I made it expressly for her character. So yeah, I was gonna make a subclass of something to do with like whatever, an origin or something for the Growlhammer, so people could play a Growlhammer paladin if they wanted. But yeah, it's just an order. It's nothing like massive narratively. So Runo's 36, Emporium is 37. The Geminos Hunters are 38. Yeah, it's not a secret anymore. Endrick is 39. And so wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need a 10th rare. Ooh, I need a 10th rare, don't I? Oops. 31 for Amelia. Then Scarlet Starbreeze. 32. Then Ella Blackwood. The legendary Ella Blackwood, not the full art one. 34. Look at how cool she is. Oh, wait. Nope. 33, not 34. There we go. Charlotte is 34. Novalia Eldari Rune is 35. Runa would be 36 in theory, if we're not going to make her a secret rare. 37 is the Emporium. $38 are Gemini's Hunters, which Aduria is going to get a promo version of it. It's a 1 of 1 of each one. 38. 39 is the Endrick Avalon, which should be a secret rare as well, I think. Yeah, I think the sketch should be a secret rare. Respected Guildmaster. Yes. Still plop that down there, so we have continuity's sake. And then okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So in rare number 40, which is what this would be. Is going to be blank. So, what's art that we've done that would be a good rare slot? Character or something along those lines, a Dagron. Let's go and select something from Instagram that looks good. Oh god. OBS, hello? What the fuck? My entire OBS is white. What the hell? It says not responding. Add the little like Windows thingy. My stream's still live though. I'm still broadcasting, just a program. I can't click on it or anything. Wait, what the hell? This is insane. I've never seen this before. Like, check it here. Like it's still like works-ish, but everything's like white. I can't click on anything. I can't interact with the software though. I'm minimizing it. Like, look at that. I can see chat and stuff, but it just says not responding. See, like that's the top. What the fuck? I've never seen this before. Hold on, wait, I need to fix this because I can't click on anything on my OBS. It just has a little like Windows fucking rotating ring thingy. Okay, hold on. Let me just Google this real quick. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Oh god. Says I can close some other things. Let me try real quick. Sorry, it says it says it's a fucking graphics card issue potentially. Let me try closing Photoshop real quick and restarting. Yes, I want to save that. Yes, please. Okay. I do that and give it a second, and it usually, I don't know. Like as soon as I saw graphics card, yeah, forced closing would be awful. This is why I want to have, man. I need to do this. Oh god, I need to get to the computer store, bro. I need to reinstall fucking everything. Oh, Evangelated Thought for a graphics card? That's a good idea. Please? Okay. Let me try something. Let me try moving it over. Oh, nope, not there. What the hell? Okay, let me try this.